Good afternoon, everybody. We got just the right time to try to wake up because, by the way, I have good news for Dina. Here there is a lot to do. This is the wrong lighting. Huh? By the way, this is nicely warm light, 3000 Kelvin. It's completely wrong. This is the light temperature that tells you good night. So that is for sleeping, and not for working, not to have a presentation. But okay, we have to deal with what we have. Because the most economic way, by the way, is that we do the things outside. We do free because all the evolution of human beings, we have done things outside. Right now with 6,500 Kelvin. And this is the color of the light we have right now. It's the sunset, nicely romantic, whatever you want, but it's the signal that tells you good night. But okay, now we go. The content of my presentation, I'll just introduce myself and our company. I will tell you about what we're working on sustainable communes. I'll tell you how far we have been reaching our program and get you some conclusions as usual, some homework to do, okay? So first, I'll tell you a little bit about me, just so you know. I'm mentioning this, my PhD is in the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology. And why is this for our work important? Because right now the KIT is not only, as in my time, the University of Karlsruhe, it's the oldest technical university in Germany, okay? They made a fusion with the Federal Research Center in Energy. So right now, this is the biggest European center of energy research, okay, the KIT. We have a chapter in Chile, by the way. I'm the first vice president of that. So working with that, I'm part of the, you would say this is the engineering society in Chile. It's called Colegio de Ingenieros. And there we have a commission on energy. I'm the vice president of that, and I'm leading the energy efficiency committee because I'm a fan of energy efficiency, not only in producing energy, but also to scare, okay? As Nina, I'm part of this human-centric lighting society, which is something very simple. It's say illumination is for people. Did you know that? Illumination is not for rooms, it's for people in the room. Illumination is not for the building, it's for people in the building. Illumination is not for the streets, it's for people walking the street, okay? And that gives you something very easy to save money. If there are no people, lights out. But that is a major problem because we are talking about customs. And changing people is very difficult. It's a lot easier to change technology, but changing habits is something really, really tough, okay? We have also a project called Smart Energy Concept. This is done by the German Chamber of Commerce. They have 3 programs. One is in Chile, in Mexico, and Indonesia, where we try to make really energy efficient works. Because normally what happens is auditors tell you a lot of things to do, and this is subsidized by the government because it's good to have audits, and nobody does anything afterwards. It's just to tell your boss, sure, we did something, nothing came out, that's it. So what we are doing now is really telling people how to sell these things, because you see, energy is done by engineers, and they have no idea how to sell things. Within a company, you're always fighting about money. And who gets the money? The guys from, I don't know, marketing, you see? Those know how. This is a lot better to invest in a new label for your product than all this energy stuff, which is the dirty stuff at the end of the company, okay? So we have to get aware of that. Okay, I just get a few seconds to tell you about Chile. I don't know if you have heard about this. Is a country which is in the western side of South America, called the shoestring, because we are about 5,000 kilometers long and only 100 in the width. We have all kinds of climates. We are a member of the OECD, so we think we are developing, okay, about $15,000 per capita. And we are really in a kind of island, because from one side we have the Atacama Desert for 400 kilometers. We have the mountains with 7,000 meters height. And the other side, we have a lot of water. Okay? So we're in between, and that is something very important because we have a nice agricultural industry which has good sanitary conditions. We don't have pests and so on because nothing is coming over the desert. Okay? We are world champions in a few things like earthquakes. Yeah, yeah, we're better than the Mexicans, right? Because we're champions in bilateral economic treaties. We're champions in copper. All the mining industry is very important in Chile. Lithium, which is something important now for batteries, we're the highest one. And we are, of course, 100% export-oriented. We're only 15 million inhabitants, or 17, so it's not that much. So we are really good at exporting. One nice thing is very fine wines. For those, okay? We are aiming to become the world leader in photovoltaic, and we have invested tremendously in the last years. Really, the photovoltaic capital in the world, solar concentration, is right now in the Atacama Desert. We have such a nice insulation that last year in open auction, we had this world record $29 per megawatt hour. So that didn't happen. And by the way, without subsidies. No? This is just free market. That is remarkable because otherwise the price has been very high. Okay? We do a few things like LED, so lighting. We do energy efficiency audits. Our major problem is always in this energy stuff that this is nowhere in the scope of importance of management. So as it is initial cost, nobody wants to invest. They want to save, but not invest. So one of the economic models is having energy service companies. So you pay for the investment and you rent out illumination, heat, cooling, whatever, you see? And the next one here is we are not waiting for the electromobility that we hope it's coming, but in between we will have many decades still using petroleum, okay? And it's about time that we do something about fuel efficiency, so working on that. And these are plans that we do. I will show you a little bit about power plants, okay? So energy audits, that's okay. In illumination, we do a little bit more because we have found, by the way, that in our markets, the lamps, even they call LED, are really like a Windows 5 system. Huh? People think that with LED everything is done. No, there is a tremendous progress in technology, so one LED is not the same as the other, okay? There is a progress as you will have with the smartphones. It's amazing what is done. The problem is in illumination, we have been very quiet for 137 years since Mr. Edison patented the bulb, the incandescent bulb. Nothing happened in the world. They were as bad all over, the technology was as bad everywhere because it was a hot wire, nothing else. We had a hot wire for illumination, okay? So we do this, that we develop lamps, we are not builders, but we know where to buy them. And I have good news. They don't have to cost more than $1 or $2. Huh? That they will sell for $10, yes, but actually they are not that expensive anymore, okay? Just to have an idea, in incandescent lamp, where you're talking is 15 lumen per watt. So you pay for 1 watt, and you get 15 lumen for you as a human being. Look, we have tubes with 174, or lamps with 160 lumen per watt. So that is 1/10, at least 1/10 of the, so you just exchange one by the other, and you have only 10% electricity bill. It's as simple as that, okay? We have one world champion is this one, with 220 lumen per watt, which is amazing what you can reach today. So this is out in the market. You have to just look, and that's what we do to look for the best technology, okay? Heating sanitary hot water. This is something easy. It's geothermal. We have, of course, everybody has a lot of heat underneath this kind of buildings. There is there for free, okay? You have to collect it. And also, the sunshine give you hot water for that. What is it? Okay, there is, we have a law, a recent law for, it's not subsidizing, but you can have small and up to 10 kilowatt plants, and you can sell that to the utility to the same price as you buy it at night. You can produce it at midnight, and the other one from 10 to 100 is you get more or less half the price. When you sell it at midday, when you have enough sun and you buy it in the night, it's about 50%. Those projects have not started very well because they have a payback time of about 10 years. Again, in Chile, nothing is subsidized, so you have to pay it. So it had been slow. Okay, and we have this kind of things. We do this power plant, backup power plants, because all the renewable energy have the problem that it's not clean. You have a cloud coming, as we saw yesterday night, you see, they had the eclipse, and they didn't have more than 30% of photovoltaic. So you need this kind of backup plants that we do, okay? That's all. Now we'll come to the issue, sustainable communes, citizen movement. We have 5 what we call axes in here. First is education. If we do not educate our people, we are not done. We are too old. we have our way of working. You have to start with children. There is no other way around. We do recycling, drinking water production, which is very important for us, at least in the northern part. In the southern, it rains a lot, but that is not obvious. Reforestation is something that we have a lot of desert, and the climate change. Somebody said there is no climate change. There is a climate change, so we are losing forest. Okay, energy efficiency, which is things that we will do. Okay, our idea is to bring education and also hands-on solution to communes. The problem is communes is the smallest country, if you want. It's the smallest unity which have health care, will have education and so on. So you have a mayor or whatever you will call it, it's the smallest unit. Okay? The problem is the guys are politicians. They have no idea how to run things and not even making this kind of thing. So what we try to provide them hands-on solution. So companies going in and offering something. The idea is the practical solution must be scalable to be applied not only in that commune, but in the whole country, and if it's possible, also export that idea. Sustainability. This is something that I want to stress it, because normally in sustainability we are thinking about environment, okay? That sustainability environment. But there are 2 things missing always. One is the economical part. If something is not economically viable, you can do a lot of things that will die. And the other thing that we have experienced in the country is the social side. There have been people, even with the permits, they build a plant, they build a big food plant. They spent $500 million, and they were blocked because they didn't sell the project to the people. And so there are always people against something, you see? I'm against that, what is the issue? That's called opposition or whatever. So it's not easy. If you do not sell your project socially, so if it is economic, but no social, it's not equitable. So we have a problem here. If it is environmental and not social, it's not bearable, okay? The question is, again, if it is environmental, it has to be viable. So all the 3, it's not easy to be really sustainable. Think about the 3 axes. Otherwise, big projects can go completely wrong if you do not sell it in the right way. And we as engineers do a lot of problems because we tend to forget that, okay? This is not, I would say, not our idea, but it's inspired by these 2 guys, Thornburn Latti in Sweden and Sarah James. They have this Institute of Eco-Municipalities. By the way, they have taken out of bankruptcy, I don't know how many municipalities by this system. You see, because municipalities just spend. And so they are taking a lot of debt in there. And so they have been able to organize this. And we have had the visit of Thornburn Latti a few years ago, and we said, okay, this is a good idea how we organize ourselves in communes to get out. Because always to think about that a big government will help you, it doesn't happen, okay? Our diagnostic now, what happens? Many communes are really economically broken, but they cannot go bankrupt. It's no way. They accumulate simply debt, that's all they have. We have bigger in a developing country as we are, big difference between rich and poor and so on. And the typically question, people have no savings. They spend all the money in basic needs, okay? And now here we're talking about things that have to do with investment. So if you don't have money for invest, there is a problem. Higher income people have now, I worried about the earnings they have because there are no interest rates, zero all over the world. It's very hard. The question how we put them together, that's the key issue here. Central banks, like in OECD countries, look, Europe is flooding the market with 60 billion euros a month now for the second year. How much money is that? How many bags of bills they are carrying around? It's tremendous. Just to activate the economy, in this case, it's Spain and Italy, Greece, but it's so much money in the market, okay? What I say again, but our major problem is how we change habits. It's a lot easier to change, and now the question to save energy is a matter of habits. Just turn down the lights, turn down the air conditioning if you don't need it. Okay. Now, what have we achieved in education? We have one NGO in GEA, which has which we are going into schools and communities to tell about sustainability and all these savings. You have to have this program, and they have the coverage, and now we're doing also with indigenous people, which tend to be all over the world the most poor guys. And this is something I just want to show you. We have one company doing in rural communes TV and internet. This is so important. We are privileged guys. We are in a big city, so for us, internet is obvious. Those guys don't have it, and it's a level where you say really emerging people, and for them it's so important to have internet, not to have to go to the municipality to have a paper done and 50 kilometers in the road. So they are very good payers, okay? And we have about 7,500 customers. It's in the countryside where the big companies don't go. Because it doesn't pay, because people are distributed. Okay. Recycling. We have a company that is doing this reverse vending machine for recycling. It's called WEEC, and we will install these reverse vending machines where you give your garbage back and you get credits. This is in Mexico and also in Colombia. And this Friday, we have the first installation of our machines. I will miss it. Yeah, we have done a lot of work on that, but we're missing that. Okay, drinking water is important. There are different technologies that have been developed also in Chile. In the northern part, it's desert, you have no water. But in coastal regions, you have fog in the mornings. So there are these nets where you can collect fog. And that is something very nice. We have a program installing photovoltaic for wells, okay, in the countryside. Because of electricity, it's very difficult to get somewhere. So this is, but here we have still to work a lot. And now we're working in another very important issue, which is water sanitation. One thing is to have water, and the others will be potable water. We're working with the Chile University, developing catalyst for you see, normally in Chile, if you say this is drinking water, you have to put chlorine in. It could be the best water, but you're never sure to have your tank, and this will not spoil. So that's why you need the chlorine. So you have you avoid reinfection, okay? And we are developing a catalyst which works with very little kind of chlorine. It's the same technology as fuel cells to have this effect, because you could have excellent sterile water, but you have an open tank, so it will spoil with time, okay? This is important. Okay, reforestation, we have done very little right now. This is, I would say, the last part that we will attack. And I will tell you about energy, our energy efficiency, because again, this is very important, first of all, to save, because renewable energies are very expensive per watt installed. So the first thing you have to do, the cheapest thing, is to save energy. This is the first thing you have to do. Okay, so we looked a little bit what happens in Chile. It's a little bit different in the northern part, which is more the central part, which has a Mediterranean climate, and this is more a wet climate. But normally in cooking they will use propane. liquefied petrol or gas. In the southern part, you have enough wood. Heating in the north is not necessary, it's hot enough. Here we'll have wood. With wood, here we have a major problem of contamination because there are poor people, so they will just cut a tree and sell it. So this is wet, so it will produce a lot of fumes. And we have terrible problems with particulate matter 10 and 2.5 right now, because having cooling is done in the northern part, the center. We don't need too much cooling because with this climate we have, all nights are cool. During day you need, but normally we don't have running conditions. Lighting, of course, electricity grids. We produce electricity a lot by coal. That's a problem of Chile. We used to have all hydro because you see we have this mountain. So just 1 cubic meter, you know what a cubic meter is? That about 3,000 meters high, just 1 cubic meter will give you the potential energy for 5 whole households the whole year. So we are blessed. But again, there's an environmental problem. Nobody wants to have a dam. Do not flood my dam, okay? And you have to convince them to change that 1 hectare for 100 hectares somewhere else, and then they forget about those problems. But this is very expensive because that's the way it works. So what happens in the last 10 years, only coal thermal power plants were installed. You see, imported coal from Australia coming all the way to the Pacific, which is ridiculous, or for Colombia, we use coal because we have very little coal in Chile. So nothing. It's about 800-meter depth below the sea. So it's the poorest region you can ever imagine where the coal mines. Today, everything is imported. Okay, South. Of course, transport, everything is diesel and gasoline. Okay, and those are, in our country, 100% imported fossil fuels. So we are exporting money for a lot of people. We don't need it. We have so much own energy. Okay? Sorry, this is in Spanish, but what I want to tell you, in electricity, uses are for motors, 56%, and illumination is 19%. Of all the electricity being produced, 19% is for illumination. And here I have my personal goal, to get this 90% down to 2. And it's perfectly possible if we change all our lamps to good LEDs, not the bad LEDs, the good LEDs. By the way, incandescent lamps were banned in Chile 2015, 18 December of 2015. They are not imported any longer. Perfect. So it's a ban on import. So the rest that were sold, and that's it. There are no more coming in. That's why I was amazed to come to the US and see in CVS pharmacy, you still have incandescent lamps. Ridiculous. But here, they have enough money, so that's the problem. Did I say right? Okay. Our major problem, energy efficiency has no priority at the sea level. So CEOs, they have other problems than energy efficiency. This is not on their bill, not at all. They have other major problems, and energy efficiency is something not nice, not cool, okay? Poor consumers have no money for investment, yeah, but they have to pay monthly bills, electricity bills, fuel bills, okay? The problem, poor communities get no credit, yeah? So we have to provide initial money. But again, there are no savings without investment. It's ridiculous, but if you don't have money to invest, you cannot save. You have to pay your monthly bills, okay? So this one-time cost is something we're working in the way how to avoid this one-time cost. Yeah? Kuwait is nicely because you are giving away lamps. Perfect. we can't do that. Okay, all over we do not have any subsidies. Normally there are no subsidies at all besides public transportation. This was done 2007, and we have a tremendous hole in this. About $10 billion we have spent in subsidizing the public transportation, but nothing else is subsidized in Chile, okay? And the economic model we want to work on this is ESCO, so energy service companies, but everything that is energy, don't invest yourself. We do it, okay? So heating, thermal solar, of course. We can heat air, we can heat water, we have enough sun, and geothermal. That is something that we have a lot. Everybody has that. For electricity, we are pushing mini hydro, so small bypass plants. Of course, they are installed a lot of big photovoltaic parks. We're more interested in, for communes, in PV roofs, just in the roof, which was, but also aeolic. But here again, renewables are very capital intensive. But you know, for a school, it's very nice to have photovoltaic panels. It looks very sexy, okay? Oh, we are doing, wow, we are renewable. But that's a lot of money. If you just change first your air conditioning, your lighting, okay, then you need only 1/3 of the photovoltaic capital. It's really very important, because then you get away from prices. If you only invest 1/3 of what you thought you have to invest, it's a lot cheaper without having any fight on prices, okay? Just give you just a few examples: efficient motor or LED lights, thermal insulation surfaces, sewage heat recovery. My dear friend from Montreal, Canada, Irving, he will help us in this, because you can save a lot by recovering heat from sewage. The average temperature of sewage in any building is 25 degrees C, and your groundwater is 10. So you have 15 degrees C free of charge to heating up for your boiler, whatever you want to do. It's free energy, absolutely free energy. And one of the things is illumination according human-centric principles. Just to result, for instance, using human-centric lighting principle, illumination. First of all, and that is an important part, is ecology. You can get rid of fluorescent and compact fluorescents. Remember, those are based on mercury. Mercury is banned all over the world in trading, but you can trade these lamps, which is ridiculous. We have signed, I don't know, as Chile, how many economic treaties. The health ministry has signed no more mercury, and the energy ministry is still importing these CFL lamps, which is, they don't talk to each other, okay? Of course, lower green gases because of energy savings, okay? Economics is very interesting. As I told you, we have a lot of projects where the installed power, we can go down to 30%, because normally we need an illumination, more illumination than they have normally, okay? But you go down to 30%, that's what they say. Your photovoltaic is only 30% of the original. And if you do it right, the energy consumption can go down to 5%. It's very easy. You put better technology and you turn down the lights. But since we are not turning down the lights, you put today, again, technology, you put some sensors. So you save in these two, this is an equation. You can save in the watts, doing better efficiency, and you can save on the hours, just by turning down the lights when nobody is inside. Okay? It's very nice because it's a multiply. Okay? But the best nice thing is to have the soft savings, which is even more important. The cheapest way is higher productivity in people. This is more important than all the energy bills. Okay? Better health, faster healing, higher personal well-being. Okay? One thing very short for motors. You see, normally you are fighting against prices. Look, just a small motor, 1.5 kilowatt, costs you $572, okay? In average, they last 12 years. So your energy bill is $24,000 in 12 years. And you're fighting about prices and having motors that are not certified because you buy cheap Chinese stuff, okay? And this is, look, a 110 kilowatt motor, the purchasing is only 0.9% of your total bill after 20 years. That is the average time you have a 110 kilowatt motor. This is the big one, okay? So you have to think in life cost cycle, not only in purchasing, okay? Conclusions. Engineers, be aware of the financial world. Why? Because we're talking about energy and these are long-term investments. Look, just a power plant, you are building the power plant for 20 years. So the most important thing at the end of the day is your interest rate. If you see, for instance, in Dubai, they had nice low prices because they built a plant with with financial only 5% per year, okay? We, as a small country, we will have 10% per year, okay? That means at the end of the 20 years, in a country with only 5% annual cost, at the end of 20 years, you have your plant, okay? 100% your plant. And the bank has another plant, 50%. If we have 15%, at the end, we have one plant and the bank has 3 plants. That is because this is not linear, okay? It's interesting, so be aware of that. To have after 20, it's a pity. You will have one plant and the bank in money will have 3 plants. So for whom are you working for? Okay? So the stability of a country is something very, very important. And we tend to say, well, I save a few percent here. No, it's much more important the financial side, to get the right money. Okay? Much more than all our engineering skills. Another thing, we normally as humans have this linear thinking. And today we have another world. We have an exponential world and we have exponential companies. And it's very difficult to understand this. If everybody of us is doing a little bit, this is exponential. So we can do, everybody here can do a difference because it is really exponential. It's my concern the future well-being will be achieved if we have conditions like lighting back to nature. This artificial lighting is completely wrong. It's really completely wrong because we didn't know. We have had hot wires for lighting, okay? And what I'm very proud of saying, we can, if we work together, transnationally, whatever, we can achieve a lot of these challenges coming out right now, okay? Thank you.